News Channel 3.
Only on WBTV. Clemson takes on Miami of Ohio. Tomorrow at 12:25.
I'm home.
The most compelling action is on CBS Sports.
And hi, everybody. I'm Jim Nance along with Clark Kellogg, and welcome to our primetime coverage of the road to the Final Four here on the exclusive home of the NCAA tournament, CBS Sports. Clark, I am pumped up. How are you doing? Did you enjoy the afternoon?
Very much so, Jim. You talk about what went on. All of the higher seed teams prevailed, and there was great action in the paint. Kelvin Cato had 29 points. Scott Pollard had 19 boards. Danny Fortson had 24 and 12. And Brad Miller from Purdue, out of the Big Ten.
I knew you wouldn't forget.
Went for 31 in Purdue's win.
Spoken like the true Big Ten legend that you are, Player of the Year just 15 years ago. March Madness is in full swing, and in tonight's action, Coach Dean Smith could get into the second round and the history books as he looks to tie Adolph Rupp's all-time coaching victory record of 876 with a win over the Fairfield Stags. A short time ago, Andrea Joyce caught up with Coach Smith.
All the extra attention this weekend. How has your team handled it so far?
Well, I hope. Well, I know our coaching staff has, and approached it like any other important game in the NCAA tournament.
Your 23rd straight first-round game. This one doesn't really seem like all the others, does it?
It does. It's always fun to get to the NCAA tournament and then hope you play well once we're here.
And keep everything else out of your mind?
Everything.
All right, we'll talk to you after the game. Good luck.
All right, also in our lineup of early games tonight, many of you will see Rick Pitino and his Kentucky Wildcats start their defense of the national title against the Montana Grizzlies in the West. In our other early games, some of you will see Vanderbilt against Xavier in the Midwest, while others will see the College of Charleston with the longest win streak in the nation right now at 22 games against Maryland in the Southeast. Maryland will not start guard Terrell Stokes and swingman LaRon Profit because of a curfew violation last week at the ACC tournament. Both are, however, expected to play tonight. And in our nighttime doubleheader games, Colorado faces Indiana, and that figures to be a classic 8-9 contest. The last final from the afternoon, St. Joe's out in Salt Lake City, and the champions from the A-10, a 10-point victory over Pacific for the Hawks, their first NCAA tournament win since 1986. And the road to the Final Four will continue on CBS after this word from your local station.
Time in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The road to the Final Four continues with first-round action in the East region as the #1 seed is ready to take to the court the North Carolina Tar Heels, winners of 12 in a row, taking on the #16 seeds, the Stags from Fairfield. The winner of this game meets the winner of the last game of the day here in Winston-Salem. Indiana and Colorado coming up later. Earlier today, California beat Princeton by 3. And Villanova handled LIU by 10. The man of the spotlight at the moment is Dean Smith. With a win tonight against Fairfield, he would tie Adolph Rupp for the all-time lead in career coaching victories with 876. Coach Rupp, 876 and 190 during his coaching career. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Bill Raftery. Happy to have you with us. And Bill, as we heard a moment ago in his conversation with Andrea Joyce, Dean Smith very reluctant to be in the spotlight. He'd much rather the attention be on the game and on the players as usual.
Like all the great ones such as yourself, he deflects praise. He's very humble, but he's had some great performers as well. Tonight, Antoine Jamison, one of his stars, a guy that can run the floor, can dominate low. The ability to finish, something he possesses. They'll go to him often, and there'll be some lobs, and Antoine will be at the end of some of them.
Meanwhile, Paul Cormier, the Fairfield coach, told his team, either way, you're going to be a part of history tonight. Either you'll be the first #16 seed ever to win a game in the NCAA tournament, or you'll be the losing team when Dean Smith ties the record. If they are going to get the win, they'll need a big performance from Shannon Bowman.
They got to jam things up, and they got to get Shannon involved. They like to go in low to him. He's a powerful guy down on the block. His problem is going to be to elevate and get shots over the big front line of Carolina.
The starting lineup for Fairfield: Bowman joined in the front court by John Tice and Darren Phillip. And the guards are Kyle Commodore and Greg Francis, who was the tournament MVP in the MAC Conference Tournament, which Fairfield won in almost miraculous fashion. More about that as the night goes along. Meanwhile, North Carolina 24-6. Anamola Okulaja and Antoine Jamison, the forwards. Serge Zwicker, the center. Shammond Williams and Vince Carter, the guards. And let's check in with Andrea Joyce.
All right, Sean. Shammond Williams rolled his ankle in practice on Tuesday. He's been wearing an air cast since then, but just took it off for the game. Didn't practice much yesterday, but he did work out today. I spoke to him a short time ago. He says his ankle is still pretty sore, but he said the only thing that would take him off the court tonight is if they cut off his foot. Big night for everybody, Sean. They all want to be here.
And a sellout crowd in attendance, most of them cheering for North Carolina. The Tar Heels had the shortest trip of any school in the NCAA tournament to their first round site, 55 miles. Dan Reynolds threw the ball in the air. He's working with Steve Olson and Steve Welmer as the officials, and the tip controlled by North Carolina in white.
And the Stags go man-to-man, Sean McDonough. You'll see a lot of zones, however.
And Vince Carter fouled immediately by Kyle Commodore. Paul Cormier, Massachusetts native, in his 6th season as Fairfield head coach. 13 seasons overall, including his 7 years at Dartmouth, 161 wins combined. And looking for the biggest win of his career tonight.
The zone on the inbounds pass now. A lot of high-low looks as Zwicker obviously will be the center of attention down on the block. Keeps the ball high, gets some good releases.
Jamison saw a touch for the first bucket of the ball game.
And the Tar Heels go straight up man-to-man as well. Gonna have to show a lot of patience, try and get the ball low, kick out for some easy jumpers. I don't think they'll be able to elevate inside.
Darren Phillip, elbow jumper, rims out. Obviously, Fairfield a little bit nervous at the beginning. A good start, important for the Stags, according to Coach Cormier. Zwicker missed the turnaround hook. Phillip the rebound.
And the rolling hook. We'll try and drag Zwicker outside. Phillip had the first look. He likes to jam things up defensively.
Greg Francis to John Tice. That's a 3, and Fairfield has the lead, 3-2.
And Shannon Bowman contributed with a solid pick down the lane.
A three-pointer for Vince Carter, the sophomore from Ormond Beach, Florida.
Some pretty good answers on that end, don't they?
Yes, indeed.
He has stepped up his level of play the last month.
As have the Tar Heels as a whole. Commodore 3. No sign of jitters on the part of the Stags on those last 2 shots.
I just think the Heels are out there. Ed Cota sits a couple of minutes, then comes in and organizes. Williams slides off the ball. A lot of answers. If the Stags have the response, they're in pretty good shape. A little 2-3 look still. Nice play. Got to catch it, get the hands ready.
Pass off the hands of Serge Zwicker. Fairfield, a small school of 3,000 undergraduates in Fairfield, Connecticut, about a 45-minute drive from New York City. And they got here with the automatic bid as the conference tournament champions. They were 2-12 in the regular season and finished last in the MAAC. And then they won 3 games in a row in the conference tournament after winning only 2 the entire regular season.
That's amazing. I can relate to the losing during the regular season. The tournament success, I can't. Stepping on the end line on the penetration, you can't afford turnovers. You need shots.
Fairfield had high expectations this season, decimated by injuries throughout, particularly to Bowman. As he got healthier at the end of the year, that was a big part of their success in the conference tournament. Carter missed a 3. Okulaja back to Shammond Williams. The tip wouldn't go for Jamison. And the save in the corner by Darren Phillip. Some of you will be leaving us momentarily to see the start of the Temple, Mississippi game. Others will leave at 8 Eastern time to see Montana and Kentucky.
And Sean, they're running their stuff nicely. Good crisp cuts, good screens, patience. Reversing the basketball.
Williams with a hand literally in Commodore's face. Francis, he's been their biggest scorer. Greg Francis, the senior from Toronto, one of 3 native Canadians on this Fairfield team. Okulaja the miss. And the rebound by Greg Francis.
A pretty good start for the Stags. Real solid, making the shots and defensively rebounding.
9-5 Fairfield, 3.5 minutes in. 11-5 Fairfield. After the basket, underneath.
Wow. Did you say nervous early? They got over it quickly. Nice screen by Zwicker.
Fairfield on an 8-0 run. Zwicker rips the ball back, and then he got fouled.
Now that's what Surge may have gotten away with it, but a good aggressive move. The ability to rebound, a real difficulty for Fairfield. And here's good aggressive pursuit of the basketball. I think it was clean enough. Surge fouled rather lower than he normally is as he approaches the rim. The big thing with Carolina, Dean Smith doesn't have the depth. And I think he realized that in January. Went to more basic, didn't switch the defenses, not a lot of jump switching, straight up man frequently, and then a little 2-3 zone. They call it the zone for Surge to protect him, keep him in the rebounding area.
Zwicker will shoot 2. He was third team all ACC this season. Really made a dramatic improvement. Only had a career average of 5.1 points per game entering this season. As you see, posted nearly 12 points per contest this year. Senior from the Netherlands, made 1 out of 2. Sunday, Enajukin pulled down the rebound for Fairfield. He wears number 44. A freshman was just checked in. Bowman out of the game after picking up his first foul. Mike Horan also in the game, wearing number 42. Not the same Mike Horan who was punted for the New York Giants. Tice has it rim out. And Enajukin the offensive rebound. Horan lost control. Carter played it off to Williams. Back for Carter.
That's when they're tough. Good gut cut by Carter in the response. Coda in the game on the other wing. Williams able to make that decision. Fairfield come up with a couple offensive rebounds, just couldn't knock it down.
Stags lead 11-8. Here's Horan, nice pass. Enajukin was fouled, and it's a shooting foul, says Steve Welmer. So Enajukin will go to the line for 2. Vince Carter called for the personal, his first. And the first foul called against North Carolina in the game.
And Mike Horan with a nice look on that cut across the lane. Composure very important for Fairfield. Getting a sense of what's happening, what's transpiring. I think they're in very good control. Relaxed, and maybe that idea of, hey, let's see what happens for 20. Maybe we can steal one or get the second half with a chance to.
Enajukin to shoot 2. And it has been a struggle for Sunday all season long from line, 47%.
Get a little rash when you hear the whistle when you're shooting like that.
That applies to most of the team. The Stags, 61% free throw team, worst in their conference this year. But they lead by 4 at our first time out.
It happened one day. Just after sunrise in Hunan, Shen Cheng became the first in his village to call America. Lloyd moved from Lone Pine to the global village. And a man named Riley scouted 6 NBA teams at one time. Later, a banker sent $500 million and hope to workers halfway around the world. And a reporter sent word that the citizens of Claremont were all safe and sound.
Nothing is impossible. Well, we've got to believe that, too.
As Christopher Reeve inspired a room full of people 1,000 miles away. 220 million times a day, people share information, ideas, and dreams on the most powerful network on Earth. And from a world away, a tiny voice reached Shen Cheng.
Hey, Papa.
AT&T. It's all within your reach.
The Michelin X1 with a 6-year unlimited mileage tread life.
Nearly 5 minutes in, Fairfield leads the #1 seed North Carolina by 4 points. And for those of you expecting to see Montana and Kentucky, we'll be sending you for the tip at 7:55 from Salt Lake. That's another 1 versus 16 matchup.
Been a fun day so far.
Really has been. No major upsets, but a lot of well-played games. We saw 2 of those here earlier today. A lot of closely contested action. Shamon Williams, a 3. Against the heels within one.
Talking about why they've improved, they feel shot selection has improved. You get it to him, it's usually got a chance of going down. 33% from three, that's pretty darn good.
And 52% from three for Williams over the last 17 games. That's a long stretch to shoot over 50% from three. Francis guarded by Williams. Bowman back in the game. Zwicker's playing him.
And Dean feels his better ball pressure. That's helped their club, too. Good cut by Bowman. Wasted the dribble.
Francis open, and he'll make it. A three-pointer for Greg Francis, a 32% three-point shooter. He has 55 for the year to lead the Fairfield team.
And he can get in the lane, too, Sean. He can put the ball down, get in the middle. He's going to be tough as the game progresses.
Carter, a three. Rebound, Tice. Brent Wall now in the game with the ball for Fairfield, number 22. There's Wall, a junior from Ann Arbor, Michigan, out of Pioneer High School. Fairfield 4 of 5 from three-point range. As a team for the year, they're 32%.
They've been very patient, using their brushes. Here's a staggered double.
Tice, strong move in the lane.
Tice is nice.
They don't look phased at all. Carter, tough shot. Rebound tipped up but not in by Zwicker. Here comes Bowman. Left it for Francis. The numbers favor Fairfield, but it's a pull-up three. And Francis had it rattle out.
Oh, how the game has changed. 3-on-1 ends up with a deep one.
They went for the lob. A nice anticipation by Francis. He saw the pass intended for Jamison and batted it away.
And Paul Cormier figured we're going to give a few of those up. If it happens, fine, but we don't want to get any easy ones. A pretty good defensive reaction, nice elevation against a good finisher.
That's what he said yesterday. The number one thing that Coach Cormier told his team was to sprint back on defense, pack it in the lane. If they're going to beat us, they're going to have to beat us from outside. Right now, Fairfield leads by 6. Zwicker's hook wouldn't go. And the Stags more than holding their own on the boards. It was Phillip who pulled that one down.
Nice cut.
Tice up and in.
Bowman's not getting his shot, but he's screening and finding guys.
7 points for Tice. He's their second leading scorer for the year at 8.8 per game. North Carolina is 4 of 14 from the field. Ed Cota. Okalaja the skip to Williams.
Nice cut.
And Jamison converts.
They have a great ability to pick up holes and weaknesses in your zone. Good crisp cuts.
Nearly 8 minutes in. Fairfield by 6. Bowman had it blocked by Zwicker at 7'3". He's the tallest player in North Carolina history. The long arm of the law prevailed there.
He may have to fade back to back court on that one. He won't get many off with Serge on him.
Coda, freshman on the all-freshman team in the ACC. And the foul committed. Good cut to the open spot by Okalaja, and he'll shoot 2.
Now that's his contribution to this team, finding his way, learning the point position, a tough one. Kenny Smith, Phil Ford, some great ones that played as freshmen. But Eddie is the difference, too, in this turnaround. Loves to give it up. Dean says he's comfortable coming off the bench.
He's from Brooklyn. The freshman averaging 6.8 assists per game to lead the ACC. First freshman to lead the ACC in assists since Kenny Anderson, Georgia Tech in 1990. You know the last Tar Heel to lead the ACC in assist-wise? Jimmy Black,
82? Yeah, I did see that.
Time ago.
Now, how about Okalaja now? Heinrich Rodel is the one that recommended him to Dean Smith, the former player. And he said, Coach, I think he can start for you. Well, he didn't start in the first couple of games, but he came on. Great defender, solid on that end.
He made 2. The Heels are back within 4.
Freshness Hotline, what's the problem?
Man, my party is lame. I think I got some skunky beer.
Sir, relax. When was your beer born?
Born? What are you talking about?
It doesn't have a born-on date?
A what?
Do you have any 60 minutes?
Well, Sean McDonough, Fairfield out of the gate strong. You're going to see a nice little cut and a response. And this is one of the reasons they're doing extremely well. Back cut, nice spread on the offense, nice little kiss delivery at the end. But Shannon, like the meat hook, Dimitri Hill, Florida last year, solid player.
Bowman playing with 3 bone chips in his right ankle. That's been his major ailment throughout this year. Fairfield handles the press very nicely. Francis double team, passed out of the trap. Commodore back in now for the Stags, wearing number 23.
Serge really jamming it in on Bowman, trying to help out on others.
Still 15 on the shot clock. Didier Boucard is in for Fairfield with number 25. There was some question as to whether or not he'd play. He's bothered by a sprained ankle. Shot clock at 5. Francis, a step back 3.
Step back tag. I mean, that takes a lot of effort. And not an easy delivery.
9 points on 3 threes for Greg Francis, who's coming off a 26-point effort in the conference championship win over Canisius. He was the tournament MVP. Zwicker was short from very short range. Fairfield with the ball up by 7, nearly midway through the half now.
And Ed Cota had that little foul line jumper. He's going to have to stick that, Sean.
Paul Cormier said his goal was to have this be close late enough so that CBS would have to send audiences from other games back to see surprising Fairfield hanging in there with the number 1 seed North Carolina.
And I'm a little trouble this trip with the basketball line.
Williams has Cota. And Cota, outstanding defense by Francis, missed the shot.
A nice play by Williams, giving it up early, too, where Ed could do some damage. Good reaction by Fairfield.
Quarter of the way through the game, Fairfield leads by 7. Second consecutive turnover, however, is Carter intercepting the pass.
And they got to value the basketball. Look at this quick entry.
Okalaja had it swatted. It was knocked away by Inajukin. North Carolina won for its last 8 from the floor.
Sean, do you see a little Princeton out here with Fairfield?
Yes.
Spread the floor, take away the size, the power of inside with good, quick, crisp cuts.
Francis guarded very tightly by Williams. Now Boucard, a sophomore from Laval, Quebec. Bowman, that's a 2. Toes on the line, and that looks like concern on the face of Coach Smith as his team goes down by 9.
While State drags Swigger out here to play smaller guys, if Bowman can make that, it's going to be awful difficult.
22nd timeout called by North Carolina.
Well, they got to be hopping in Connecticut, huh? George Bisacca in the 60s got this program going at Fairfield. Slipped a little all of a sudden a few years ago. Mitch Bonagura got him going a couple of years, 86, 87, 87, 88, NCAA. Nothing much of late. All of a sudden, Paul Cormier, a tough year with all the injuries this year, but have stepped up beautifully.
Bradley, the last team with a losing record to win the NCAA tournament game and NCAA tournament game. That was in 1955. They were 7-19 that year, Bradley. They actually won 2 games in the tournament. Fairfield coming in with their .379 winning percentage this season. That's the 4th lowest in tournament history.
I did not work the Bradley game, incidentally.
No, you were busy doing another game that night. Fairfield on a 12-4 run.
Defensively, shaking it up, different look, straight up man this trip, mostly zone.
Carter to Zwicker. Carter guarded by Tice. Okulaja guarded by Francis and a block called on Francis. First foul on Greg.
Not too bad a reaction, though. Just got a little too tight. Paul Cormier in the background. Coach with Rolly Massimino. Not a bad start in life, huh?
At Lexington High School in Massachusetts. And then later coached on the staff at Villanova. Recruited many of the players who were on the national championship team in '85 for the Wildcats. He actually left that season, become the head coach at Dartmouth. Wasn't around when Villanova won the title. Jamison a miss inside, then a frustration foul.
Yeah, not one he should have had. Just run back. Had a decent look, just didn't kiss it soft enough. You haven't touched the ball often. They've done a good job jamming them up. You don't have the same relaxed stroke. And right here you see Bowman using the body. I compared him to Dimitri Hill at Florida. Same physique, maybe not as good offensively, but you can see here the reaching, something he doesn't have to do.
First foul on Jamison, just the second on the team. 8:20 remaining first half. Fairfield leads North Carolina 24-15. Bad pass. Bowman with those bone chips just cannot run fast enough to run it down.
Well, with or without the bone chips, I think he might have a little trouble sprinting for that one against that 2-3 zone. Dean had pulled the string a little bit, and they didn't react properly.
Fairfield has had the chance here to push the lead up into double digits, but on a few of the recent possessions, they've become sloppy and have started to turn the ball over.
Defense, too, stepping up a little bit. Big bodies, big arms make it tough to get the proper angle.
Coda, good pass into Jamison. He was way short with the shot.
Got it back on the palm, didn't really stroke it. Come on, Twan.
Commodore to Phillip. Now Tice on the floor with Bowman and Francis. Zwicker out to block the three-point try of Commodore. Both teams have gone cold. Fairfield still leads by 9. The lob. Carter to finish off the pass from Coda.
They sprinted back, but it was Commodore back. And in this high C, you got to have a little more size. Good look.
Commodore does not resemble the Admiral.
No, not at all. Foul line might be open for a flash and a kick.
Tar Heel fans, and there are many of them here, trying to spur on their team. Nearly the steal by Carter on the pass intended to Phillip. Fairfield by 7. 7:15 remaining in the first half.
Tiger Woods takes on Augusta National. The Masters on CBS.
Honey, come here, come here. I got it all figured out. If we leave at dawn, we go through Bluff Woods, over this mountain here, then we cross Wills Creek here, and then boom, we will be at the Hoffmans at dinner time.
But they live next door.
What do you mean, you don't even want to drive?
The Monopoly game at McDonald's. You could win a Ford Explorer Eddie Bauer edition. Just buy large or supersized fries and you could win this prize. It's our best Monopoly game ever.
I'm walking.
Great, I'm driving, so.
What do you want with your prize?
Well, there was one year where I almost lost the entire backyard to crabgrass, and I vowed that would never happen again. The following year, I did use Turf Builder plus...
Dean Smith looking for career coaching victory number 876 to tie Adolph Rupp, but that's the last thing on his mind at the moment. The Fairfield Stags, the number 16 seed in the East, have a 7-point lead in the ball with 7:15 left in the first half.
He's got to tie Fairfield before any of that occurs.
That's right. Tice off the inbound play, missed the 3. Rebound, Phillip couldn't save it.
You talk about Dean Smith and his success. How about this tournament? Roy Williams and Eddie Fogler, top 6 in the country, and Dean Smith, they're all in the NCAA. Bill Guthridge alongside him.
Of course, Roy Williams and Eddie Fogler, former Dean Smith assistants. Williams ranked number 1 in the country. Coach Smith's Tar Heels ranked number 4. And Fogler's Gamecocks ranked number 6.
Not too bad. Not a bad trade. Bill Guthridge, I mentioned, longtime assistant.
30 years on the staff with Dean Smith. Zwicker, nice pass, and I think Shamon Williams got hit in the head. He's gesturing to the bench that he wants to come out, and he's rubbing the top of his head.
Fighting it off a little bit. Thought the officials might give it to him.
The first field goal for Zwicker. He's 1 for 6. Fairfield by 5, 6.5 left in the first half, but they've been stuck on 24 for a while now.
And his own much more effective, much more active.
Gone nearly 3 minutes without a point of the Stags. Tice couldn't get that one to go. He got it back off the hands of Zwicker. And a foul. Zwicker came down across the arm of Tice. And he's a little slow to get up.
And you can see the reaction by Zwicker. That should have been his rebound. Just a little slower reacting than they would like on that particular play. This one, maybe Tice bring it back out. He's fortunate to get to the foul line, use a little more clock. He's given them everything, is the quote by the North Carolina people, Serge.
Tice to shoot 2. 64% from the line for the season for John, a freshman from Bayville, New Jersey. Central Regional High School. He might still be a little bit woozy when he got hit by his wicker. Number 35, Moran to the bench. Phillip goes there as well. Bowman and Anajukian are back in for Fairfield. Tice, who was on the all-freshman team in the MAC this season, missed both, but the loose ball wound up with Greg Francis. Well, they're still stuck on 24. More than 3 minutes now.
They're really having trouble because they're attacking the shooters outside. They're giving up some stuff on the baseline.
Bowman gets it to bounce in. First field goal in 3 minutes and 23 seconds for Fairfield. They lead by 7. Shannon Bowman has 6 points.
Go inside now. They got the man-to-man. Did some touches.
Shammond Williams missed a three-point try. Bowman protected the rebound. Game is going exactly as Fairfield would have hoped.
Paul, the plan is to perfection right now, using a little bit of clock, and they love to get it inside. You can see there's Anajukian on the box, didn't get the pass, but they generally like to jam it down.
Atlantic 10, 1-1. St. Joe's the winner, Rhode Island the loser. The Big Ten is 1-0 with Purdue's victory. The Big East 2-0 today, wins by BC and Villanova. And the Big 12 is also 2-0. Iowa State and Kansas victorious today. Paul Cormier wanted a reset on that last ball going out of bounds. He thought it was kicked out by Carter. He didn't get it. And he didn't get the three from the corner by Francis.
And Jai in the game there with the rebound was a little quicker to counter the jump shot.
Williams' shooting is a little bit off. He thought he got hit on the arm and turned and said so to Steve Olson. He might be having his shooting hampered by the ankle injury that Andrea Joyce discussed at the top of the telecast.
They go straight up man-to-man.
Fairfield by 7. Traveling the call is Kyle Commodore. He's a sophomore from Bridgeport, Connecticut. He did not play in their championship game victory in the conference tournament against Canisius. He came out for the warm-ups but was bothered by strep throat and flu-like symptoms. He got so dizzy during warm-ups he fell down during a layup. Joel, coach said, "That's it for you." He went to the locker room, watched the first half in the locker room. They gave him some medicine and got him rehydrated. They said, "Well, you come back to the bench and watch the second half." He said, "I don't want to go out there. I don't want to change anything. We're on the verge of upsetting Canisius and going to the NCAA tournament. I'm going to stay in the locker room."
Superstitious player like a coach. There's the alley-oop to the empty backside. Well designed. And who pushed the button? Ed Cota.
And Jamison with the finish. Carolina down by 5. Brent Wall back in the game with the ball for Fairfield. Stags stagnant on offense of late over the last 5 minutes, but they still have a 5-point lead. Bowman guarded by Jai. Oof. Wow, tough shot for Shannon.
He kept the dribble alive, maneuvered his body, and the kiss release at the end.
Lead back to 7. Bowman was in a situation with those bone chips at the end of the season when he was only playing in games and not practicing. Jamison, no basket, foul before the shot. Paul Cormier thought that arrangement was really hurting his team, was hurting the chemistry. It wasn't helping Bowman. They lost their last regular season game at Loyola, Maryland, and on the long ride home, he talked it over with Bowman. Said, either you practice or we can't have you play at all. He's been practicing, and they've been winning ever since.
Porsche Boxster is assembled at Zuffenhausen, Germany. Much the same way our original Roadsters, the Spiders, were assembled. By human hands.
Reasons why a lot of us have lost to Dean Smith and contributed to this run for the Roses. Those 2 back screens, you think you got it covered. Ed Cota on the money. Rather simple, but dynamic.
Fairfield by 7. They were particularly hot early from 3-point range. Started out 4 for 5. Hit 1 of 5 since. Last foul before the timeout was on Anajukian, his first. It's been a foul-free first half. Francis leading Fairfield with 9 points on 3 3-pointers. Vince Carter is 7 for North Carolina. Carter played it inbounds to Okalaja. Now Coda, they're on the court with Jamison and Zwicker for the Tar Heels. Carter for 3. Vince Carter makes it a 4-point game. Double figures now for Vince. He has 10 points.
Simple screen on the wing. You got to slide around that, particularly with Carter out.
Carter averages 12.5 per game, nearly to his average here in the first half. Wall on the court with Haran, Francis, Bowman, and Ojukin for Fairfield. Out of the corner, Sunday and Ojukin.
And so what a nice job. They dragged everybody high. He snuck baseline on the same side as the ball.
Fairfield by 6 with less than 3 minutes left in the first half. Okulaja was open for 3, decided to take it to the bucket, and he traveled on the way.
And boy, had Carter right at the foul line on the pickup of the ball. The extra step cost him.
Just the second turnover by North Carolina. They've struggled with their shooting. They've been at 50% or better in each of the last 8 games of the Tar Heels. 35% in the first half tonight, while Fairfield shooting a robust 57%.
Getting a lot of opportunities with good looks. The changing of the defenses has been a little bit confusing for Dean's guys.
Do you remember what your record was against Dean Smith? You mentioned there's a reason.
I sure do.
Those wins.
I sure do.
What was it?
He's 1, I'm 0. Because after he beat us, I decided we're not playing anymore.
Well, if it's any consolation, Adolph Rupp, the man he's trying to catch tonight, was 2 and 5 against Dean Smith.
Well, that just proves that I guess anybody can lose to him, huh?
Shot clock down to 5. Stags need a shot. Wall, a runner, got no rim. The putback did. Then Francis fell down. He's grabbing his ankle. That would be a huge blow to Fairfield's upset hopes.
And he's running back, fortunately. But they get the easy look on the 5-on-4. Steve Ballmer wants the timeout to address Francis' difficulty.
He's wearing a brace around his left ankle, and it was that left ankle at which he was grabbing when he hit the deck. Had a chance for a score if he had stayed on his feet.
Well, certain clubs during the year have problems. Cal with its injuries, Fairfield with his injuries, as Carter's
on the foot of Carter, yeah.
That's when they're really bad turns.
He is going to sit on the bench, but he's walking around not all that gingerly on the sideline. As you can see by the facial expression, doesn't appear to be in great pain. And a whistle along the far sideline. I'm not sure what it is all about. Steve Welmer blew the whistle. Apparently he was just knocked out of bounds by North Carolina. 4-point lead for Fairfield. And here comes Francis right back in.
I remember talking to Dean Smith years ago up in Rochester, the old Kodak Classic, and there were teams in it that had different ways of playing, slow, fast, and it didn't matter to him what you did. He felt he could get you out of it. Well, this team doesn't possess all those changes and the looks that he gives you. It's more solid man-to-man pressure with the 2-3 zone as well.
So not as deep as recent Carolina teams. They might play 8, 9, 10, 11 men. Here's a 3-pointer. Well, if his ankle was bothering him, it wasn't for long. Francis has 12 now on 4 3-pointers. He's had 2 games this season in which he's made 6 3-pointers. One of those games against Colgate, the other against Boston College. And for those who aren't familiar with Fairfield, the Stags took BC to overtime before losing, and they're the Big East tournament champs. Missed by Carter, rebound by Ojukin. Fairfield with the ball up 7, 1 minute left in the first half. They'll likely take the lead into halftime.
Couldn't have drawn it up any better. Carolina's struggling as to what they want to do. Some major adjustments into the approach of the zone have to take place at halftime for Dean.
The last Carolina lead was at 5-3. They only led twice at 2-0 and 5-3. And Ojukin a bunch of moves. He was bumped on the floor. Was fouled. We'll see if it's ruled a shooting foul by Stan Reynolds. It's only the 4th team foul in the half on North Carolina, and the second personal on Antoine Jamison.
And you got your answer, non-shooting, but all you had to do is stay there. I think good defensive coordination turned him to Zwicker, the bigger guy on the trap. Couldn't have done it better defensively.
Fresh 35 on the shot clock, 41.7 on the game clock. And Paul Cormier has asked for a 20-second timeout to discuss the strategy. Coming up on Pennzoil at the half, Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all of the tournament news, the scores and highlights, plus a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament at the moment. That's coming up on Pennzoil at the half. Paul Cormier was the conference coach of the year last year in the MAAC. He led Fairfield to their best record in 10 years. They were 20-10 last year, made it to the NIT, lost to Providence in the first round. They were picked to finish first in the preseason coaches poll because they had many key players coming back. It's a good team when they're healthy. Don't be deceived by this 11-18 record. It really is an aberration due to injuries more than anything.
They haven't had them together, no question. Nice trap here by Carolina. They're going to have to do a lot more of this in the second half. Pull the strings.
Fairfield dodging bullets left and right on that possession. Tice, the runner, gets it to go.
They are not backing off.
This matches the largest Fairfield lead, 9 points. They will have the lead at halftime and a fairly comfortable lead at that, at least sizable. Nothing's ever comfortable when you're playing the #1 seed.
And Zwicker was wincing as he came in. He hasn't had anything consistent work for them. They haven't gotten Williams involved. Like Fairfield's been able to counter with Greg Francis' deep shot, or the penetration, the dish, and then Tice, who's gotten inside twice. And this is where Surge came back limping a little bit, and they are involved, the MAC champions.
Fairfield at 56% from the field for the half. Cormier may get his wish. Those cameras from the other games may swing back here to Winston-Salem. Coda in a collision gets the shot to go. Time for a heave if they hurry. They can't get it in time. Halftime. Fairfield leads by 7. Here's Jim Nance.
What a stunning first half. But let's get to the closing seconds out in the Midwest at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Vanderbilt and Xavier. Here's Gus Johnson and Quinn Buckner. Final seconds.
Under 10 seconds to play here in the first half. 38-33. Xavier will play for 1 shot, 2 to go. Posey. And that is the end of the first half of play. Xavier will head into the locker room with a 38-33 lead. However, Jan Van Redderkoff Commodores managed to weather the storm, and they keep it close, trailing by only 5. Vandy scored the last 5 points of the half. And that is the end of the first half. Once again, the score. Xavier on top, 38-33. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg will be along with Pennzoil at the half after this.
Everybody! Motor oil to fully meet the new, tougher GF2 standard.
11-18 in the tournament, and Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg here in New York. I've heard it all week. Should the little guys still stay in the tournament? This is why you keep the little conference represented in the NCAA tournament.
Without question, you do it between the lines, and Fairfield has gotten off to a great start, executing their half-court offense, taking opportunities in the open court, shooting a high percentage, and playing even on the backboard so far.
So it's a 7-point lead for the Stags, and just a moment ago, our Andrea Joyce talked with Paul Cormier, the head coach of Fairfield, as they headed to the locker room.
Coach, I know you didn't expect to be doing this kind of interview at halftime. How have you managed to keep North Carolina off balance?
Well, we're taking advantage offensively. We're answering. I didn't know if we could score as well as we have so far. I'm sure there's going to be some adjustments made from their end, but we've been answering, so we've been doing okay, and we've been keeping them off from getting second shots. I think that's been the key.
Pretty heady experience for your young team. What do you tell your kids in the locker room?
Well, we'll calm them down right now and come out and try to execute exactly the same way.
Good luck in the second half.
You know, Clark, I keep thinking about 1994 when Carolina was a 1 seed and played Liberty in the first round. Liberty was down 6 at the halftime, but then took the lead with 10 minutes to go before Carolina routed them by 20. What about Fairfield staying in this game in the second half? They're leading by 6. 7.
Well, they've got to continue to rebound the ball, and they've got to execute, but you would expect North Carolina to step it up defensively and try to attack them inside where they've got a size advantage.
All right, Clark, also at halftime, and Xavier against Vanderbilt, and that score 38-33. The Musketeers, the 7 seed, leading by 5. All right, let's continue here with a look at this one. College of Charleston with that 22-game win streak, leading Maryland out of the ACC by 5. 1:40 to go in the first half, and let's pick up the action with Tim Ryan and Al McGuire.
A 5-point lead for Charleston with 1:26 remaining first half. Charleston in their maroon colors, Maryland in white. That's Johnson with a miss, and Elliott knocks it loose. A push underneath, maybe on Elliott or on Delaney.
I think it's on Elliott. He was on the back of Delaney.
All right, well, earlier today here in Memphis, #1 seed Kansas advanced past Jackson State. Purdue beat Rhode Island. They'll face each other Saturday. Our next game here tonight, #4 seed Arizona against South Alabama.
We're in the 1-1.
Elliott picks it up, and he'll take a seat with 1:18 to go, and Delaney at the line, shooting 1-1 for Charleston. And a 6-point lead. Not Delaney's strength there, 62% from the line. Has 6 points.
Coach John allows him 2 jump shots a game, and that's it.
Can't make the second one. And Maryland with 1 field goal in the last 3 minutes of this half. After 3 consecutive 3-pointers that brought them into a tie, they have been quiet.
Both teams are in a 1-1 now. Charleston goes to a 2-3 zone. Got to shoot from outside. Be patient. There it is. Up. He had it. It's going up now. Nope.
Kovarik down to 15 seconds on the shot clock, and it is Profit with the 3-pointer. 11 points for him. 33-30 in the final minute of the half. Charleston leading. Pressure from Kovarik and Stokes. Gravy, good ball handler, gets it up court. Anthony Johnson. 20 seconds on the shot clock, 30 seconds on the game clock. Johnson driving. Won't go for him, and Booth with the rebound.
They'll go for the last shot. Look for it to end up in Booth's hands.
Stokes checked with Coach Gary Williams for the play. Down to 10. Profit for 3. Yes! Wow, what a shot. LaRon Profit ties it at 33. Well,
all right, so LaRon Profit, he did not start this game because of curfew violation, but Maryland knocks it at 33 at halftime in that one, Clark.
2 evenly matched teams. The experience of Charleston may give them an edge in the second half.
Out in Salt Lake City, West Region action, Kentucky, the 1 seed leading the Big Sky champs, the Grizzlies of Montana by 10. Let's join for a quick taste Gary Thorne with Dan Bonner.
In Salt Lake City, Kentucky with that #1 seed extending their lead to 10 over Montana. Walker, the leader of the Grizzlies, gets tripped up in backcourt as this pressure of Kentucky continues and has resulted in the turnovers and the baskets to put them on top.
Montana has been able for the most part to hang in there, Gary, but that Kentucky pressure gradually taking its toll.
For Kentucky, Turner's picked up 10 points. Mercer, their All-American, has 9. Dick with 6. Olsen with 4. Dade with 4 for the Montana Grizzlies. And Walker will go to the line. Kirk Walker, 79% free throw shooter. They are not getting those to fall yet.
No, Montana's really hurt themselves there.
Kentucky 30-20, 5 minutes to go first half. How about the Wildcats in this year's tournament?
I think they've got a great chance to defend their championship. They're right now in the midst of a spurtable, up 12 right now.
Spurtable. You want to qualify that?
Well, that's a run within the word spurtability. The individual runs are spurtables. The ability to spurt Spurtability.
You created that one. Coming up in the second half of our doubleheader, Indiana and Colorado around 10 o'clock Eastern time. Most of the nation will see that. The games will include the 95 national champion UCLA Bruins against Charleston Southern. South Alabama and Arizona will start shortly after 10. And Virginia and Iowa should close out the night for everyone. All right, second half coming up. Stay with us as we continue on the road to the Final Four.
Pennzoil at the half was sponsored by Pennzoil, the first motor oil to fully meet the new, tougher GF2 standards.
Every 10.
Well, this crowd in Winston-Salem is abuzz with that halftime score. Fairfield, the number 16 seed, leading the number 1 seed North Carolina by 7 points. This was the focus of attention when the night began. Dean Smith's pursuit of Adolph Rupp's record. The win tonight would move him into a tie for most coaching victories all time. But right now, the focus is on this game. It wasn't a fluke what we saw in the first half. Fairfield played very well. What does Carolina have to do to turn it back in their favor?
Sean, I think they have to take it to them a little bit. The zone was effective. They were much more active. Offensively, I think they're going to have to take quicker shots. By that, they're so patient generally. Against the zone, they're more so. I think they got to, as at the end, Cota penetrated, look for the shot, 1 or 2 passes, and then crash the glass.
And when we look at the stats, a number of things we did not expect, that Fairfield would be out shooting North Carolina and most of all out rebounding them.
That is a very impressive stat.
Only 7 turnovers combined between the two teams. Now, you were in a situation many times during your coaching career where you were a big underdog, and maybe once or twice you were in a position to pull off a big upset. What do you say to your team? I mean,
well, generally you say it's a shame we had to come in here if we were ahead. And they get a timeout on the inbound.
Well, we talked about North Carolina a moment ago trying to turn it up, take it to Fairfield. They turned up the intensity a notch right there, defending the inbounding play. Fairfield with a timeout before they could get the ball in to begin the second half. So they'll try again, leading by 7. Largest lead in the first half for Fairfield was 9. North Carolina's last lead was by 2 points at 5-3. They only led twice in the half. Winner of this game meets the winner of the Colorado-Indiana game later tonight. California and Villanova won here earlier today.
And Sean, at halftime, it looks like Dean Smith, they caused the timeout with a good pressure. They're going after him straight up, man-to-man.
This is Kyle Commodore with the ball. He hands it off to John Tice. Now Greg Francis. They open the half with Shannon Bowman and Darren Phillip.
And I'm sure Paul Comer has them play loose, be relaxed, take good shots, take them when they come. Don't start thinking.
Well, a great way to start the half would be to run this shot clock all the way down and score, and that's what they do. Phillip took the handoff from Bowman. And it goes back to 9, the largest lead Fairfield has enjoyed tonight. Okalaja left open for 3, and the tip in by Jamison.
Quick shot, go chase it. How about Bowman, though? Creative from the box. He's not getting his shot off, but finding his partners.
10 points now for Jamison. He's the leading scorer on the season for the Tar Heels at 19 per game. 1 minute played, second half. Tice had Bowman cutting open, couldn't get the pass there. It was kept alive by Okalaja, and Zwicker used his size at 7'3" to come up with the free ball.
And that's the pressure into the basketball.
Carter, strong to the bucket, and gets the bounce.
They ran out on him because you know he can shoot it. Big thing so far. Carolina pressuring the passer to the post. The inbounds pass, much different look.
And their fans as loud as they have been tonight. Many North Carolina fans here in Winston-Salem, but it seems those who are neutral are starting to pick up the cause more fervently for Fairfield. Francis, nice fake. Then Carter got a piece of the ball, and Zwicker lines up with it again. Carolina down 5. Williams. Jamison at position. Held ball. And North Carolina will play it.
Is that shot quick enough? It looks like they're just going to go chase it. But Vince Carter, who has been terrific with the deep shot here, the poise under fire to side and slide by, not pick up the charge and get the roll.
Well, earlier today we saw Villanova, the 4 seed, really struggle through a first half with LIU. The lob into Zwicker. And here come the Tar Heels. They're down by 3. In the second half, Villanova opened the second half and just hammered LIU to win the ball game, and North Carolina's trying to put the hammer down here.
You almost get the feeling the kids were caught up in the Dean record, even though he's been humble and thrown it off, shrugging it off.
Now can Fairfield maintain its composure? They really weren't seriously rattled at all at any point in the first half, and a Jukin shot wouldn't drop.
And Zwicker with the tiptoe rebound.
3 to tie for North Carolina. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Jamison fouled, and it wouldn't go in. And Jukin committed the foul, his second.
A little hop, a little step for Carolina right now. Quick hitting, little post up, nice entry pass to the proper hand. Zwicker, the guy on top after the rebound, they get the reversal. Just look here, Sean. No weak side help. Everybody paying attention. You got a guy like Zwicker. You got to keep him off the glass. And it just looks like a whole different philosophy offensively. Not as stagnant, not as hesitant right after it.
Jamison at the line, the sophomore from Charlotte, shooting 2. Antoine, first team all ACC for the second straight year. He was last year as a freshman as well. And he's the first 2-time first team all ACC player at North Carolina since Brad Doherty in the mid-80s. Nice save. That was tipped out by Okulija. Now 2 to tie and 3 for the lead. For the lead, Shammond Williams. Jamison again inside to tip it. Jamison lost the handle. Zwicker ties the game.
Size. Get bodies under the rim. Fairfield not presenting himself and sticking them.
Paul Cormier will get a TV timeout on the first whistle under 16 minutes. You wonder if he can wait that long. Commodore, a huge 3.
Now he can. The Commodore writes the C.
Basket the Stags needed desperately. Trying to answer. The shot wouldn't go for Williams. And Jukin tipped it out. Commodore has help. Behind the back, and Jukin fouled hard by Carter. It wasn't intentional. And Jukin went down very hard.
Kyle Commodore with a great look, and it looks like he's okay. And you're right. Carter just running back to try and defend. Quick to the basketball, something generally Carolina is. And right here, Kyle with the great effort. How about this one, like Kuz?
Well, Jukin should stay down and let somebody else shoot the free throws.
Let Paul bring somebody in with that 47%. Oh, you are devilish.
I'd say my back really hurts, Coach. We need someone else to shoot these free throws. Well, now, the fact that I'm a 47% shooter has nothing to do with it.
And I'm looking at Paul. I think he was asking for the same thing. Can I put somebody else in? And he can.
He might.
Yep, because they brought the training staff out. Now, this is going to really help your confidence, but it is the NCAA.
Paul Cormier is a bright man.
Well, it's Thursday, but it's not a good day for Sunday on the free throw line.
And you're hurt now. You're really hurt. At least for the time being you are. And hopefully he isn't hurt more serious than that. He didn't appear to be because he was all set to toe the line. Jukin goes out and they put Brent Wall in. He's not much better. 55% from the line. But as we said, not a lot to choose from on this team. 61% collectively for the year. And 1 out of 4 tonight. Wall, a junior, sat out all of last year with tendonitis in both knees.
Pretty good choice.
Yep.
You can feel and see the energy in Carolina, though. Much more aggressive. And Fairfield with the ability for Commodore to make the 3 right in itself. It wasn't this little rundown by Commodore as well as they end up on the free throw line.
5 points in a row for the Stags after North Carolina tied it at 37. Fairfield by 5. 16-15 remaining.
And I'm coding the game to go 2-3. Not nearly as effective outside.
Okulija.
Get 2 people to play him. Now Eddie Cota can make some music happen.
3 for Adamola. Gets them back within 2. North Carolina had missed 5 3-point tries in a row for that connection. Anticipation by Okulaja.
Send him in, big fella. Dean's saying, step it up. Let's pick him up a little deeper. Take it to him. Big test right now for Fairfield. They go for the timeout.
20-second timeout. After 5 straight points by the Stags, 5 points in a row by Adamola Okulaja.
Well, if you pressure the ball, the passer, the dribbler, all of a sudden you can do some damage. The denial outside, all the way from Germany, and relishing every moment at Chapel Hill.
42 all the score. Near the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we'll select a genuine Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $6.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities.
Now what do you call? Very important. You'd like to go to Bowman inside, not to score, but to give it up.
I'd like to get Francis back involved, too. He was a major key shooting threes in the first half. He's been very quiet here in the second.
And your call, too, as Williams gets there a little bit late. Coach McDonough.
Francis buries the 3. 15 for Greg Francis. The only player to start every game this year because of all of those Fairfield injuries. And out of the corner, the 3 answered by Shammond Williams.
He's not running real well. He's loping back. You mentioned he got hit in the head earlier. His reaction defensively on Francis wasn't good, but he certainly shot it pretty good.
Under 15 minutes left. 45-45 the score. Bowman, shot rejected. Check it, it was Phillip who had a shot rejected. Out of bounds, fans boo. They thought there should have been a foul, and Dean Smith thought it should have been an offensive foul. Timeout with 14:46 remaining.
Just located another test site. Talk to me. Road testing, Stuttgart, monitor 6. Lateral G.93. Speed. Moscow.
Back in Winston-Salem, Paul Cormier has been saying all week long it would take a full-fledged miracle to beat North Carolina. Well, who better to consult on miracles than Villanova's 1985 championship coach, Rollie Massimino. As Sean mentioned earlier, Massimino coached Cormier in high school, hired him as an assistant at Nova. Included in this week's free advice from Rollie: try to enjoy it, try to keep things as normal as possible. That's a pretty tall order for a game like this one, Sean.
Indeed it is. Jamison fouled. And a chance for 3. North Carolina leads for the first time since they were up 5-3, a minute and a half into the game. Back at the other end, Tice thought he was fouled, and there was no whistle.
Well, Andrea, they kept everything normal until Carolina started getting after it, attacking the glass, getting into the low post. Jamison with the little kiss release. He hasn't won by just sitting there and counting the house.
And Jukin called for his 3rd foul. Jamison's free throw picked up by Zwicker. And then a foul over the back on Okulaja. They've been playing volleyball under that rim here in the second half.
That Zwicker does not elevate. I think you can put the Saturday edition of the Daily News under his feet when he jumps. He just gets his body in, reaches up at 7 and change, and causes so many problems for the defense.
First foul on Okulaja, just the second on North Carolina here in the half. Francis passed quickly out of a double team. Commodore trying for another big 3. Shannon Bowman about to go to the free throw line for Fairfield as he was fouled by Serge Zwicker. Second foul on the North Carolina center. North Carolina leads by 2. They took the lead a moment ago for the first time since a minute and a half into the game. This is first round action in the East region. The number 1 seed, North Carolina, against number 16, Fairfield. The 16 seed has never defeated a 1 seed. And Dean Smith trying to tie Adolph Rupp, the all-time career coaching victory record, 876. Bowman makes it a 1-point game. Earlier today, California beat Princeton by 3 points. And Villanova held off Long Island University by 10. Cal and Villanova will play on Saturday. Final game of the night here in Winston-Salem. The 8-9 game between Indiana and Colorado. Bowman makes 2. Fairfield answers again. It's a tie game. 14-15 remaining.
Straight up man-to-man. Should be able to get some inside post-ups.
Cota in the corner. Zwicker. Nice move along the baseline. And it trickled in for Serge Zwicker. He has 9.
Tough to get him out of there. You got to root him out. Don't make it that simple for the big guy. Diagonal screen to the box for Francis. They run some nice stuff, Sean. Here's a double at the end of it.
Francis for the lead. Fairfield back up by 1. 18 points on 6 3-pointers for Greg Francis. Third time this year he's had 6 threes in a game.
Once again, Zwicker in a spot. He's awfully tough.
That shot short. Jamison got a hand on the rebound. Fairfield will play it in. The Stags are now 9 for 15 from 3-point range in this game. A dramatic improvement for North Carolina in their field goal percentage overall here in the second half. And a Jukin held ball. It goes to the arrow. Fairfield will play it in.
And Sean, you know, Carolina was not ready. They didn't know what defense. They were pointing one another. Zwicker won out with his size. He comes over to help out here. There were a lot of guys unsure whether they were zone or man-to-man.
Zwicker had a monster game earlier in the year against Southern California. 22 points and 20 rebounds. First player since Mitch Kupchak in 1976 for North Carolina to have at least 20 points and 20 rebounds in the same game.
He's got a wonderful touch, the turnaround jumper. But, you know, they came back from a tough European trip during the holidays, lost to Wake by 20 right in this building. Then they had a 22-point lead on Maryland, Carolina, and lost by 10. Then they lost to Virginia. They had a players-only meeting in the locker room, and they were frustrated, the players, with one another. They thought they were better. Dean then figured, well, we don't have much depth. Let's become a little more basic. That's when the ball pressure started, the shot selection. All those little things that he teaches so well fundamentally started to occur.
Conversation by the officials was about the possession. They just wanted to make sure that it was Fairfield ball, and it was. And the Stags are down to 12 on the shot clock. Game clock down to 13 with each passing moment. The major upset becomes more of a possibility. They need a shot. Commodore a 3, blocked. Carter got a hand on it. Carolina with the ball, down 1. That pretty. They went inside and Jamison was stripped. It was a nice pass by Cota. Zwicker gets the bounce.
He just keeps coming at you. Can't teach size, they say. But Ed Cota with a wonderful post pass to start. It gets everything organized for Carolina.
Zwicker with 11 points in the game now. 9 of them here in the second half. Some of the Stags look tired, particularly Commodore bending over, pulling on his shorts as he was waiting for the inbound pass.
An inside game, it's awfully tough. They're way out past the 3-point line in this zone to defend.
Oops.
2 people.
Francis split the uprights right between Bowman and Tice. Each thought the pass was intended for the other.
Well, when they used to play Lou Alcindor, coaches would have a broom in practice for their big guy to defend or try and get a shot off. What do you do with Zwicker? I mean, he dominates inside, size-wise. He's got a nice touch, as you noted earlier. Can knock him down.
Commodore went for the steal and didn't get it. Cota played it off to Carter. Now Williams on the floor with Jamison and Zwicker. Williams, strong bounce to the bucket. North Carolina by 3, under 12 remaining.
And he's not running real well, Shaman Williams, but he kept the dribble alive. So important, and you're right about the timeout. Commodore bent over at half court. He is either hurt or exhausted.
And it has to be a full timeout because they're out of 20s. Paul Cormier signaled for a 20, but he doesn't have any left. Fairfield down to 1 full timeout remaining. And the Stags would have gotten a TV timeout on the next stoppage. Back to Winston-Salem in a moment.
They call me the Intimidator. When I'm cooking, I'm unbeatable. Give the folks what.
Sean McDonough, they're playing tag on the Fairfield guys outside here. You can get something here or turn the corner. Makes Wicker play a little. Pass it, pump fake, go by him. But they're not getting the opportunities. They're taking away that aspect of their game. And it's negated any thrust offensively that Fairfield's been able to put together.
With that pressure up high, they've had a tough time shooting threes, which has been a big part of their success tonight. Carolina has turned the ball over only twice tonight. And not a single turnover for the Tar Heels in the second half.
Flawless, but there's not a lot of pressure on them. Straight up man-to-man this trip. Down under 10.
Tice had a look at the shot clock. Awkward shot. Doesn't get the bounce. It's tipped out by Jamison. And Fairfield will play it in with a fresh 35 on the shot clock.
They saw their lives before their eyes as Wicker couldn't get full control on that sprint to the corner. Dean Smith's guys over the years give you every ounce. You watch a practice, it's the same as a game. Detailed.
Francis for the tie. Didn't get the bounce. Zwicker flips it out to midcourt, right into the hands of Francis. 11 minutes remaining. North Carolina by 3, the largest lead of the night for the Tar Heels.
And a nice play by Zerge. You don't throw it around your goal, give him an easy hoop.
Wow. Pass almost deflected right into the bucket.
That's the pressure on the ball. You can't get a good look.
Ramon Williams pulled up at the three-point line, following the rebound action. It's against Tice of Fairfield, his first. And down on a knee is Antoine Jamison.
The foul's on number 4, John Tice.
Looks like he's favoring his left leg. Only 3 team fouls on Fairfield in a foul-free game. 7 fouls combined in the first half. 3 on each team here in the second half. Nearly midway through the second half now. 10.5 minutes remaining. Williams nearly traveled on a slip.
They pry very well for a team. High-low look. Look at this.
Jamison open at the elbow, is shot well off. Fairfield could tie it with a three-pointer. They go inside to Bowman, guarded by Jamison. That's a goaltend by Zwicker. Count the basket for Shannon Bowman. The senior from Dorchester, Massachusetts, a neighborhood in the city of Boston, has 12 points.
And Shannon Bowman, one of those centers like Otis Hill that can freeze a guy. That time he's got Jamison. That's one surge should have let go. But the ability to just freeze your man enough to get it up on the glass.
Shannon's 5 out of 6 from the field. Midway through the second half now. Fairfield still hanging in there, down by only 1.
And the zone has been terrific to them. Once again, too easy.
And it's tipped up and in. Zwicker the miss. Carter the weak side tip in.
Not a bad guy chasing an Irwin toss.
And the half-court defense extended. The pressure turned up a bit in the half-court by Carolina.
A lot of times you think back cut, but they got the big people looming. You're not going to be able to get a layup.
I think this is good strategy by Paul Cormier, don't you? You're in the game. The more you can shorten the game and stay close right to the very end, the better chance you have. Francis fouled. He was putting up a tough shot with 3 seconds on the clock, and Vince Carter knows he made a big mistake. His 3rd foul.
Well, he bailed him out, but a heady play by Francis just as well. You talked about Seton Hall playing Dean Smith and abusing me. Phil Ford was the reason. It wasn't Dean Smith. He was running the show.
You weren't out-coached.
No, not at all,
no.
Needless to say. But the ability to react defensively actually hurt Carolina here. Good aggressive play. Tried for the scrape. Just a little body rub cost him.
Francis, 72% free throw shooter. He's their only player who averages in double figures per game for the season at 14-4. 6 out of 10 tonight from three-point range, has only taken 1 2-point shot.
Preseason all first team all MAC. Tough year with Bowman out. He wasn't the same player. And yet MVP of the tournament, as you noted, stepping up. That's how important Shannon Bowman is to this group.
That's right. Without him, they were doubling and tripling Francis all season long.
North Carolina by 1. And the clock shows 9 minutes remaining. Coda with Williams, Okulaja, Zwicker, and Carter. Jamison's on the bench at the moment.
You always got an outlet with Zwicker in there. Penetration, what a look. Vince made easy by Coda.
16 for Vince Carter. Former McDonald's High School All-American. Third team All-ACC this year was Carter.
And a pass from McDonald's All-American too.
Yeah.
They get some talent out there.
Well, they got off to a very slow start. North Carolina started out 0-3 in the ACC. Very nearly 0-4. Phillip, nice score inside off the pass from Wall. They were 0-3 and losing to North Carolina State by 9 at home with just more than 2 minutes remaining. They came back to win that game. Still went to 3-5 in conference before they won 8 in a row in conference to close out the regular season at 11-5 and finish second behind Duke. Carter for 3. Short. Never looked like his feet were comfortable. Carter fouled. The only chance for 3 the old-fashioned way.
Well, one thing Dean Smith preaches, and that's teamwork. Give it up. Somebody's got a better spot, and he enjoys the acknowledgement. He started so many things. The fist to get you out, the four-corner, the acknowledgement. Coda sets up this jumper. Now Zwicker turns. He's going to kick it out. An alert cut. The easy finish. The scrape at the end. All of getting better. That 8-0 run that you noted. Real solid and standing to applaud. Another one of the Dean Smith contributions to basketball.
Zwicker at inside position got called for the foul. Apparently he went over the back of Darren Phillip. That's 3 on Serge Zwicker.
The foul is on Serge Zwicker.
Timeout. Carolina by 3. Well, by now you know a number 16 seed has never defeated a number 1. And how unlikely is it that Fairfield would even hang in this game? Well, this is their 3rd NCAA appearance all time. They went in 86 and lost to Illinois by 24 points. Went again in 87 and lost to Indiana by 34. They came into this game tonight 0-5 all time against teams from the ACC, with the closest game being a 16-point loss to Wake Forest back in the 88-89 season. So they have nothing in their history or this season or in the past to suggest they could hang in there. But they're tied at 59 with 7.5 remaining.
They got something in their shirt that tells you they deserve to be there. Think of the preparation to get ready for this. The organization skills of Paul Cormier and his staff just to pick things apart against this Carolina team.
Jamison passed up a 3, then get shut off in 2-point land. Pretty. Another great dish by Coda. He's starting to take over and finding slashing players heading to the bucket. Jamison has 15 points. Coda with 7 assists.
Eddie breaking down the D himself. Each trip finding somebody.
Phillip blocked by the long arm of the law of Zwicker. Bowman. Pump fakes. That didn't fool Zwicker.
He could pump all day and get water. Serge has a little trouble getting hold of it. It's tough to out-jump a 7'5" guy.
3 blocks for Zwicker. And a hold call on Phillip. He saw the lob entry pass coming to Jamison and committed his 2nd foul.
Well, here's the block, but it's a long way down when you're that size. You can get injured running down a basketball. And Serge, fortunately, does not touch the line as he's able to secure the basketball and push the other way for Carolina. He's such a factor just by the size. Here's even the inbound pass. The kid's released. He didn't have to elevate it all. What do you do?
What can you do? It's that simple. And it's smart to keep doing it as North Carolina is. This is their largest lead, 4 points. 6:18 remaining. North Carolina has won 16 first-round games in a row. They've been in the tournament 23 straight years, a record streak in the NCAA tournament, and a foul call. Phillip went to the bucket. Jamison and Zwicker each in the area. And the foul is on Jamison, his third.
And Sean, the other end, Dean's got the success of Zwicker. I think Fairfield has to stick him, wear him, get a body on him. You just can't let him. He's setting up on the box. Root him out. It's worth the foul. When he goes in towards the basket, hug him. He can't elevate. Not that he has to go that high, but at least you can trap his arms a little bit.
Phillip at 39.5% from the free throw line for the year. Made the first of two. During that first free throw, Paul Cormier had the other four Stags over on the sideline. Fairfield, a bad free throw shooting team, is 8 for 8 from the line in the second half.
Jesuits on that campus aren't praying correctly for the free throw ability.
At least not prior to tonight.
You know, I saw Freddie Barracat here too. He's the commissioner of the ACC. He was a former coach at Fairfield.
Kamon Williams, long three out of the corner.
So many weapons, and once again, he's hobbling back. Andrea mentioned at the beginning of the show the ankle problems. Showing a lot of guts and perseverance.
They're starting to increase the lead point by point. The lead up to 5, the largest. Tice, a strong drive. No basket, foul on the drive against North Carolina. First foul called on Shamon Williams.
And the quick push here by Coda. You don't get out early enough. The confidence having the big guys to attack the glass. Shamon Williams, one of the truly terrific deep shooters in the country. 13 threes. Unbelievable.
That was the 7th team foul, so bonus situation. And a one-on-one opportunity for John Tice. He is 0 for 2 from the line. Obviously, those were in the first half.
But Shamon 13, and in the last 22 straight, he's had a 3. I mean, pretty impressive.
Tice made the first of the one-on-one. He was heavily recruited as a quarterback out of high school by several top schools, including Kansas State. But like basketball more, likely to play collegiately at Fairfield. He has 14 points tonight. A freshman playing in his first NCAA tournament game against the #1 seed.
They are playing like they belong. They believe in themselves, believe in the coach's preparation. And Coda once again picking it apart. Oh, he's that pretty. Head options too.
15 for Zwicker. 12 in the second half. Lead back to 5.
There's that foul line. Now they got Bowman there early.
Francis, long 3. Great Francis.
And nice to play because Ed Coda got caught unsure of himself as to who to play.
23 points for Francis. Fairfield 11 for 20 as a team from three-point range.
And Pick, he turns that corner beautifully.
Coda. It wouldn't go. Zwicker again. He is dominating with his size.
Just awesome. Understands, and they all face the dribbler because Coda turns the corner. He bodies himself in closer.
17 points, 11 rebounds for Serge Zwicker. Under 4.5 minutes remaining. Carolina by 4. Bowman, short, and Ojukin. The offensive rebound. Fresh shot clock for the Stags.
A shuffle cut, step to the ball, little pick.
Tice wide open for 3. Tipped out. Fairfield ball. Looked like Zwicker was last to touch it. Timeout. 3:59 remaining. Still a ball game in Winston-Salem.
Sean McDonough, Shannon Bowman, you might say, well, check out. But look at this, because Coda's penetration, the big fella can get himself in position. Just a vision on the ball. He forgets his responsibility. If you don't keep him out from that rim area, he is devastating. He can dominate, and he has been doing an extraordinary job in that category.
Fairfield plays it in with 35 on the shot clock. Under 4 minutes remaining now. Fairfield trails by 4. The steal. Williams had a little trouble on the dribble, then goes by Tice.
Oh, how about that hesitation and a little smile on Dino. Oh, is he a joy to watch too, Williams. Nice little use of the bounce.
Largest lead for Carolina. 6 points. They trailed by 9 in the first half. Foul! And a chance for a three-point play for Anajukin. He was fouled by Jamison, and that's 4 on Antoine, the All-American.
Antoine not as active defensively. He hasn't been as alert. He got caught there with a flash to the post. Not typical interior defense for Dean Smith's guys.
He was a second-team AP All-American this year. Anajukin. Even he's making them 11 in a row here in the second half by Fairfield from the free throw line. They're back within 3, under 3.5 minutes remaining.
Now Bowman's got to concentrate on Jamison too. Great offensive rebounder.
Coda, no luck on that shot. Great spin move to free himself with a wide open jumper, and it rattled out.
Did you notice Bowman too? He really nailed Jamison with the body.
3 to tie for Fairfield. Tice for the tie. And a juke in the rebound.
He has been quick to get the long ones.
Commodore down the lane. Tough pass. And a juke couldn't handle it. 2:50 remaining. The pull-up. Zwicker another rebound after the Williams miss.
And that's why Williams shot it. The big guy was getting to the rim.
Carolina will pull it out now, leading by 3.
Nice post up. Jamison was wide open.
He was wide open because he pushed away Bowman, and he was fortunate, was Jamison, that he wasn't called for his 5th foul.
Antoine gets very emotional, and I've seen a few games on tape. They go over to try and calm him down. Gets physical, gets upset. Even in the North Carolina State game, he discarded, went to the rim. He's got great energy. You don't want to take that away from him.
And Anajukin called for his 4th foul, the 6th on the team, so the next one will result in a 1-and-1 opportunity at the line for North Carolina. Pass into Carter. Commodore saw it coming and knocked it out.
Oh, what a great read, too. That was a basket. Kyle with a good recovery.
Surprised they didn't go right back to the lob to Zwicker. They really haven't stopped it yet.
You got to pressure the inbound pass. That's Bowman's job now. Don't give good vision to the inbounder. That takes away the lob.
Anajukin was right in Zwicker's face. Back to the ball. Trying to prevent that lob into Zwicker. Huge possession here as we approach 2 minutes remaining. Carter.
All started with a little back screen on the other side. They have a lot of options. Nice turnaround away from traffic.
And now the pressure on this possession for Fairfield. Down by 5, under 2 minutes remaining.
Francis with the dribble at the advantage with Jamison on him.
Does not have a 2-point field goal tonight. Talking about Greg Francis. Shot clock under 10. They need a shot. Bowman must shoot. Desperation 3 wouldn't go. Long rebound. That was not a good possession for Fairfield.
Didn't take advantage of the mismatch.
1:20 remaining. They don't need a quick shot. Coda, the freshman, alertly pulls it out. Still 22 on the shot clock.
And Francis with a tough match with Carter if they get him low. Give him a little bump.
Fairfield now in a virtual must-stop situation.
1 minute.
Zwicker. Serge Zwicker has been the man for North Carolina here in the second half. Their largest lead now 7 points. Time running out on the Stags and their upset hopes. Bowman to the bucket.
Tough-minded.
Timeout called by Paul Cormier. Fairfield out of timeouts with 38 seconds remaining.
Vortec engine in a Chevy S10, you can go around the world 4 times before you have to stop for a tune-up. Have a nice trip.
North Carolina by 5. Fairfield has stayed in the game largely because of their success from three-point land. Most of those have come from Greg Francis, a career-high 7 3-pointers in the game. The quick foul committed by Bowman on Shamon Williams. 3 fouls on Shannon Bowman.
Fairfield foul number 35. Shannon Bowman has his third 17th foul.
Williams, an excellent free throw shooter. 82% for the year.
And Sean, Cota and Williams, 17 assists and no turnovers. You mentioned 2 turnovers for Carolina. How about that for your guards? Get into the right spot.
Imagine being the number 1 seed, committing 2 turnovers the entire game as a team, playing the 16 seed, when you're leading by only 5 with 37 seconds to go.
Well, it tells you how you mentioned shortening the game. I think Fairfield's done a nice job. Controlling tempo, getting some good shots. The threes kept them alive. Then Dean stepped out, played that. All of a sudden, Bowman contributed inside.
Both teams in the bonus. No timeouts left for Fairfield, and the arrow working in favor of North Carolina. Dean Smith is inching closer to tying Adolph Rupp for the all-time victory mark.
Now Williams, ACC MVP, stepping up big time with the free throws.
Fairfield needs shots quickly. Francis out to Commodore. Already used more than 15 seconds on this possession, and a Jukin. The tip wouldn't go. Rebound for Carter, and North Carolina is going to survive and win its first round game for the 17th straight year.
Well, Dean Smith didn't want to talk about it. Everybody humming in this part of the country, as well as the basketball world, shrugs off all the praise, attributes it to wonderful players and their contributions.
62 of the wins in the NCAA tournament with this victory tonight. More NCAA wins than any other coach.
And here's the play I thought that sort of sealed it. Zwicker, not known for activity. The good sprint to the open space, the response by Cota. 10 of those assists. Those people who get a chance to know him, one of the great competitors. You would not want to play golf with him, incidentally. He plays by the rules. Gets after it, and just like his team, very competitive. All the drills are orchestrated, they're rated. The game tape is looked at. The pluses and minuses registered. If you rate out higher, you start.
And Jukin is fouled out with 6 points and 7 rebounds. Carter now with 22 points. And we're 14 seconds away from history. Francis, another 3, is 8th of the night. Under 10 seconds to go. Fairfield, without any timeouts, commits the quick foul. Francis hit Williams. And finally, a relaxed smile for the first time tonight on the face of Dean Smith.
Well, courage displays itself in different ways. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes it's a guy diving and offering it up for his alma mater. But Fairfield gave Dean Smith and his group everything they possibly could. Understood what it was about, how meaningful each trip would be, what they wanted to do with the basketball, how they wanted to guard, what they were going to do defensively by getting back and coordinating in the painted area.
Chevrolet MVPs of the game are Greg Francis of Fairfield and Serge Zwicker. An outstanding second half, 16 of his 19 here in the second half. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Zwicker, a huge part of Dean Smith's record-tying night.
He sure was. That little handshake was with Ed Cota, and right away Dean started coaching. Thank you very much. You should have played that guy a little bit differently.
Elijah knocked it away from Tice. And the valiant effort by Fairfield comes up short. 876 career victories for Dean Smith. There is not a coach in the history of college basketball who has won more games than that man.
the Stag wanted to shake his hand. Record-setting night. Adolph Rupp, 876 and 190 in his career, and a huge hand for Coach Smith as he goes down the tunnel. Dean Smith, 876 victories, a few more losses along the way, 253 in 36 years at North Carolina, and he'll have a chance to break the record, perhaps against another of the great coaches of all time, Bob Knight, on Saturday. First Coach Knight's team will have to handle a very tough Colorado team.
Well, in this area of the country, he's revered. The rest of the world in the basketball circles, extremely respected. I mean, a gentleman, plays by the rules.
As you can see, it's really a major deal to him.
Yeah, it's just another day at the beach.
And I think that's typical of him right there. You could see the graciousness in the way he greeted Paul Cormier. I think his first response was how well Paul Cormier's team played and how well coached his team was.
He respects people, and he respects people who do a good job, and that was a compliment tonight, the performance by Fairfield to Dean Smith.
Terrific effort by the Stags. But that record is still intact. No number 16 team has ever defeated a number 1. One game left to come here in Winston-Salem, and it should be another beauty. The 8-9 game between Indiana and Colorado. Fairfield certainly couldn't beat Smith tonight. Final score, 82-74. Carolina. Here's Jim Nance.
Well, Dean Smith's first win was December the 2nd, 1961 against Virginia. And tonight, number 876, tying Rupp. Right now, let's send you out to Midwest Region play. Vanderbilt 11 down to Xavier. Last minute of that one. Now let's pick it up with Gus Johnson and Quinn Buckner.
43.4 seconds to go. Xavier leading Vanderbilt 78-67, and it's been the pressure defense full court by the Musketeers. It's been the difference here. Also their ability to crash the offensive boards. Get the ball ahead, cross-court pass, Lenny Brown will hold it, and they play keep away. And finally a foul. Austin Bates.
It's been as much the pressure of the offense as it has been the pressure of the defense, Gus. They've just pushed the ball at them so many times that Vanderbilt eventually just ran out of gas as you take a look at the brackets.
And Xavier will play the winner of UCLA Charleston Southern, which tips off at 9:57 Eastern Time here at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Michigan. First round action in the Midwest region. Winners earlier today, Iowa State over Illinois State. Big game for Kelvin Cato, 29 points. And also Cincinnati beating Butler. And our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Austin Bates for Vandy, 21 points, 7 rebounds. Darnell Williams, 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to award outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. 25.6 seconds to go. The season coming to a close for the Commodores. They were looking for their 20th win of the season under Jan Van Bredekoff. They will finish at 19-12. However, for Xavier, they continue to play.
Well, for Jan Van Bredekoff, as I said, I think he's a coach that you got to look at. If you're looking at little coaches, you got to keep Jan Van Bredekoff in mind, because I think he's done a great job. He played against a team here that just had more speed on both sides of the basketball.
And that is your ball game. The Xavier Musketeers will advance to the second round as they go on to beat Vandy 80-68. They will play the winner of UCLA Charleston Southern. Final score once again 80-68. Now let's go to Jim Nance in New York.
All right, an impressive, solid effort tonight by Xavier. Meanwhile, let's move over to Memphis and the Pyramid, where a 12 seed is winning over a 5 seed. College of Charleston up 8 with 3 minutes and change remaining. Here's Tim Ryan with Al McGuire.
Charleston inbounding here, leading 62-54 with 3:10 left.
They might spread it out a little bit here. It's kind of early to go to the clock, but I think they'll try to get some ticks off.
College of Charleston Cougars in maroon, Maryland's Terrapins in white. This is Anthony Johnson, has played a solid game, a leadership role. 4 seniors in their starting lineup. And a foul, no, travel call.
That time down low, Johnson gave that shoulder and head fake, but he pulled his feet as he gave the fake. Good call.
14 turnovers for Charleston. 2:50 remains. Terps have got to make something happen. Stokes off the hands of Yazakevicius and Stacey Harris.
They just had 2 terrible turnovers the last 2 times down. Maryland didn't even get a shot.
22 points for Stacey Harris. He averages 11 a game. He's been the big man in the scoring department for Charleston. Stokes, bounce pass for Booth. Booth battling it up with the ball in the end. Keith Booth, 14 for him. A muscle job by the star of this Maryland team, Keith Booth, the outstanding senior from Baltimore.
Harris has just come up with a limp. I don't know if they'll have to take him out of the game. If he has to go out of the game, that's going to hurt the Cougars. We'll show you right here where he got hurt. That's Johnson on creating the turnover. He's driving for the dunk, put in the tomahawk, and when he went down there is where he hurt his foot. We'll give you another angle of the tomahawk and the way he came down.
Looks like he just landed heavily on that left foot.
Heavy pressure up court.
2:13 to go. Gravy gets it off to Mark Himes, number 33, a junior from Columbia, South Carolina.
Got the ball in the right man's hands now. Johnson, good foul shooter. He's going to take it down to about 7.
8-point lead for Charleston, trying to upset the number 5 seeds from Maryland.
Got to get it up.
McGravy.
Wow! The shot clock, he connects. Possible 4-point play.
Shane McGravy, the sophomore from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
McGravy can stick to 3. He doesn't get a lot of playing time, but he'll always remember that shot.
Profit picked up his 4th personal. McGravy made it a 4-point play. 12-point lead. 1:38 to go. Stokes driving. Booth got the rebound, and he's blocked by Connor. And it's going to be called a jump ball. Possession arrow goes to Maryland.
1:32 left.
Yazakevicius to Booth, and Booth muscles up again. Boy, there was no quit in that great senior. Keith Booth, 16 points. We have a timeout with 1:29 remaining. Charleston by 10.
Said he was going to call us, tell us what it feels like.
Across America, more people use Cellular One than any other cellular service.
Hello?
Tim Ryan and Al McGuire at the Pyramid in Memphis, where the College of Charleston, 129 away from the second round, leading Maryland by 10 points. And our Chevrolet players of the game, Stacey Harris, 22 points, 7 of 11 from the field. For Charleston, Keith Booth, just a pillar of strength throughout the game, 14 points, 4 rebounds. He has been a solid force. The senior doing a great job. And you know, Jim Nance isn't supposed to cheer when he's sitting in his chair back there in New York. But his grandfather played at the College of Charleston, and I know that Jim is watching the score of this game closely and kind of pulling for Charleston, whether he says it out loud or not. So congratulations to him. If Charleston hangs on, the Nance family will be happy.
Nice spacing against pressure. It's all clock now. You're not playing Maryland anymore. You're playing the clock.
Yazakevicius tightly on Anthony Johnson, and finally the foul comes with 1:12 on the clock. That's 4 on Jasikevičius. Connor comes back in. Jermel President goes out. Number 20. Johnson to the line.
Kids call him Ant for Anthony.
15 points for Anthony Johnson.
He surprised me with his stamina. Maryland could put pressure on him all night long.
He's 81% from the line. And makes it 2. 70-58, College of Charleston. Stokes with the layup, driving the distance. 9 points for Terrell Stokes.
That's a 22nd timeout.
1:04 remains. Maryland, using just 7 players, has battled here as the number 5 seed in a tough contest against this experienced, underrated, somewhat unknown College of Charleston Cougar team under John Kress. Maryland has used their final timeout.
Won't be able to stop the clock anymore, only with a foul. One of the main things about John Kress here, in the last 4 years, he's only lost 16 games. That's the least amount of losses of any coach in Division I. And I think there's about 308 schools in Division I.
4 consecutive TAC regular season championships to his credit.
This is not an upset.
Only in the seedings. 12/5 if it holds here, and it looks like it's going to. 52.3 left. Charleston will be at the line again. That's 4 on Stokes. And Mark Himes will go to the line.
Himes doesn't play that much. He's more like a blue-collar role type player.
Charleston, like Maryland, has gone basically with 7 players. Himes coming in just in the last few minutes here. It's his first point.
Well, this is the first mistake the selection committee made. They were 8-0.
The 12 seeds. The Cougars from the College of Charleston in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. And we headed into the second round. They'll await the winner of Arizona and South Alabama. There's Elliott.
These fellows have played together for so long. There's 2 of them that are 5-year seniors, which helps maturity. The key to college basketball and tournament play is mature guards, in my opinion.
5 on Elliott. Sends him to the bench. Elliott turned in a good game. 12 points. He started in place of LaRon Profit. Profit came in and lit it up for a while. Had 14 points in the first half coming in at the 5-minute mark. Then faded somewhat in the second half. Himes at the line again for Charleston.
Tim, we had him 2 years ago in the NCAA. I think when they lost to Wake Forest. But that game went right down to the wire.
Yes, it did. And Himes hits 73-62. 40 seconds remain. And a steal by Delaney and a steal back by Stokes. This is Kovarik for Profit. Profit hits. 73-64. 30 seconds remain. 30.9. Jasikevičius has fouled out for Maryland, and College of Charleston on our board has advanced, and they will await the winner of the final game tonight here in Memphis. 4-seed Arizona's Wildcats in South Alabama, the 13th seed. Offense and defense meeting here on the Pyramid Court. Next from Memphis. Maryland last year upset in the first round by Santa Clara. And going out at the hands of the College of Charleston Cougars tonight.
One of the key things to Anthony here, Johnson, he has tremendous poise. Nothing rattles him.
10-point margin again. The College of Charleston. 18 points now for Johnson. And Booth. 18 points for Keith Booth. Kovarik fouling Himes, who will go to the line once again with 22.8 seconds left.
Gary Williams did a nice job this year. They picked him for 8th and 9th before the season, and the ACC ended up tied for 4th.
Yeah, that 11-zip run right at the start of the season got them off to a great start, surprised everybody. They struggled late in the season, but Williams picked up his 350th career victory in that win against Clemson in the ACC tournament. Congratulations to Gary, one of the fine young coaches in college basketball.
Yeah. At Boston College and also at Ohio State for a number of years.
Himes gets some more free throws and opens the lead to 11. Kovarik trying for 3. Rebounded by Johnson. Up to Himes. Himes will slow it down. All the way back to McCravey, and McCravey will just let it go. The College of Charleston Cougars have advanced to the second round. For the first time in their NCAA tournament history, they've only been in the tourney once before. The Kress family is happy. 29 wins and only 2 defeats as they head into the second round. Congratulations to the College of Charleston. Jim Nance will be back from our studios in New York after these messages. Congratulations to Charleston and Jim.
Go where you want.
Show? Let's not tell her.
All new Raymond, CBS Big Comedy Monday.
All right, the defending champions, and it's just winding down out in Salt Lake City. A 92-54 victory for Rick Pitino and the Wildcats. And you really think it's a favorable bracket out there in the West for Kentucky this year, Clark?
Well, I like what they do. They've got a good, solid front line, versatility in the backcourt, and the incentive to try to defend their championship in a season when they've had an awful lot of adversity.
You saw that Wayne Turner had a big game with 19 points, 5 assists, 5 steals, and Kentucky advances on to the second round as expected. We'll continue in just a moment. Half hour away. Big headline of the night is the fact that Dean Smith has tied the Rupp record. Win number 876, a hard-fought victory over Fairfield. Here's what Smith had to say.
Coach, congratulations. They sure didn't want to make this one easy on you, did they?
Well, I never seen anything like Francis's shots, but we played as well as we can play the second half. That's the best maybe we played all year in the second half, and still maybe it wasn't going to be enough.
Your team struggled earlier in the season and had some tough times. How much do you think that helped them persevere when it counted?
Well, we've had so many close games in the league, and I told them this could be Boston College. You know, they played Boston College in overtime. We're down 7, no problem at half, but I thought we played well. I congratulate Coach Cormier. Just and his group of kids. They were sensational.
You have admired Adolph Rupp for a long, long time. Did you ever imagine that you would match his record?
I have very good friends like Henry Iba, I admired Bob Spear, and my college coach fall guy. I admire Bobby Knight. I admire a lot of anybody that stands in coaching, and you know, I'm happy for all of our players who won games, and now we'll go try to win one more tomorrow.
Well, they're all celebrating this with you now. Congratulations.
Coach.
And he could, in fact, see Bob Knight on Saturday. Bob Knight with 700 wins of his own. Indiana and Colorado coming up in just a few moments. And again, let's remind everyone, most of the nation's going to be starting out with Colorado against Indiana. Some will see UCLA against Charleston Southern. For those of you expecting the South Alabama-Arizona game, we're going to start you out in the UCLA contest. And the Virginia-Iowa audience will begin with Colorado-Indiana, and we'll get you pulled out in time for the tip of that Virginia-Iowa game a little bit later on. But we'll continue on the road to the Final Four here on CBS in just a moment.